Good afternoon. My name is Jelena Pizzolato, and I wish you a very warm welcome to the 7th episode of Sustainable After, an interview series brought to you by Loomish, a Swiss investment management firm. In these weekly discussions, as many of you know, our goal is to explore the ways in which the COVID-19 crisis could act as a catalyst for change in fashion. So each week we are hosting conversations with entrepreneurs, brands, investors, and opinion leaders that work in and around sustainability. To be up to date with other interviews of this series, please follow Loomish SA on LinkedIn. So today, I have a big pleasure to introduce our panelists to you. We're going to have a focus on sportswear and on luxury underwear and undergarments industry and the effect the crisis is having on that niche of the industry. So I'm very happy to introduce to you Francesca Milani.
Hello.
Let me just do like this. So Francesca Milani, she's the head of merchandising at Puma, a leader in sportswear industry. So she's in charge of product strategy, distribution, and marketing. And she's dialing in from Dubai, where she's currently based. Hi, Francesca.
Hello.
Could you tell us a bit more about your role, about what you do at the moment?
Yeah, Puma is, as you said, like a leader company in sportswear. In particular, I'm head of merchandising in Puma Middle East. So I do the selection of the products, and I'm very close to decide distribution and prices. So I also work quite close with the Puma global team, and lately I've been studying sustainability at the Cambridge University for an online course, and I'm really interested in the topic. So I'm seeing how I can develop it more in as a main part of my role, because I think it's gonna be it's gonna be there to stay, sustainability. So really
Absolutely.
Great topic, and thank you for inviting me. Really nice to discuss with you.
It's really a pleasure to have you with us. I would like now to introduce Andreas Frei, who is the Chief Operating Officer at Zimmerli. And Zimmerli is a well-famous brand in Switzerland, so it is a traditional luxury brand. Welcome, Andreas. Could you please tell us a little bit more about Zimmerli and also about the ways that what you do relates to sustainability?
Okay, so also from my side, thank you for the invitation. And the question was what we do for sustainability, right? Or
yeah, or in general, if you could give us a little bit of background about Zimmerli, because our audience is quite international.
Okay, so yes, we are an underwear brand getting next year 150 years old, and still keep our production in Switzerland. And also we source almost 80% of our fabrics from Switzerland. So we are very local, our production and sourcing, but we are selling worldwide. So that's the interesting thing about, let's say, our company, that sourcing production is quite local, but the sales are worldwide.
Yeah.
And right at the moment, of course, I'm responsible for the supply chain, a lot of organization, things like when has the fabric to arrive that we still can produce, and we have to coordinate with our customers when they are ready to take the goods, and so that's a quite big issue and a lot of coordination work right at the moment.
Yeah, I suppose that this crisis was really a setback also in organization when it comes both to production but also to sales, isn't it?
Yes, because it didn't start in all the countries at the same time. So as we have an office and an organization in Shanghai, we were quite early aware of this crisis. We didn't expect that it will come to Europe that quick and that heavy. And so, yes, that was the start. And then Italy, and so then UK, and now Russia. So the crisis yes, in Switzerland and Germany and Europe, the shops are getting open, but still in other countries they are closed, so the crisis hasn't finished yet.
Yeah. And in China, do you see the signs of really going back to normality, being that it started there first and they're the first ones that started reopening?
Yes, kind of, but of course, also in China there is a lot of unemployment, so people are not really in this mood to spend and spend and spend. That's what we are noticing, and of course they prefer to buy online, and the frequency in the shop, I mean there are exceptions like Gucci, Chanel, Louis Vuitton, but in general, yes, the frequency in the shops is still down.
Yeah, it is. It's going to take time until it picks up again. Let me just finish our round of introductions, and I'm very happy that today we are joined by Laida, Memba, Ikuga, and Laida is one of the founders, and she's the chief of sustainability as well at Cocoro. That is one of the finalists of our Fashion Innovation Awards. She's based in Spain, and we're very happy to have you with us, Laida, today. So could you tell us a little bit more about your company and how what you do relates to sustainability?
Hi, good morning, and thank you for hosting us. Well, yeah, Cocoro, we are 4 founders: Eva Polillo, Cristina Torres, Clara Wask, and myself. And what do? We design innovative underwear based on advanced textile research. Our mission is to create products that we can wear in a comfortable way, but taking care of the diversity of bodies, taking care of aesthetics, but also putting on the center some basics, and that is menstruation, vaginal discharge, minor urine losses, and sweat. Well, the fact is that half of the population of Europe menstruates on an average of 30 years for at least 5 days a month. And that means that we produce thousands and thousands of tons of non-recyclable waste every year. It's around 590,000 tons of non-recyclable waste. So normally this waste goes to landfills or are incinerated, and that causes a lot of pollution, land occupation, a lot of greenhouse emissions, and this is obviously unsustainable. So our mission is we would like to move this to zero. We want to we believe, according to the European Green Deal, that we can reduce to zero the tons of waste generated for menstrual management. And menstrual management is a right, is a basic, everybody should be able to menstruate their menstruation, but we have to do it in a sustainable way, and we need alternatives. And this is our contribution to sustainability.
Very, very interesting topic, and very rarely tackled topic, I would say. So I don't know if it was to the number of women that took part in our jury panel, but actually your startup was very highly ranked when it comes kind of against all the others. So it is definitely, I would say that you are onto something really relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Just get a little bit deeper into our discussion, and especially when it comes to underwear, but also loungewear in general. So Andreas, I'd like to start discussing a little bit the present moment and the present trends with you that are slowly emerging, it seems. So I've seen quite a few reports saying that due to the lockdown, people need obviously more comfortable clothes, and therefore the demand for loungewear and daywear is on the rise, sportswear as well. So is it what you're seeing from your perspective, and how do you expect or even hope that this trend would develop?
Yes, it's exactly what we saw, especially in April. We had an increase of almost the double of loungewear selling online. And of course, we gave also in April a little bit of discount to push our online sales. But the first thing what was people were buying is this loungewear. And for us, it's clear that people, they want to be cozy at home, and they can't be naked. So I mean, a few maybe, but normally there are family members around, and
at least the top
yes,
part.
children, and it can happen quite easily that your boss calling you on Skype, Zoom, whatever. So you have to have, let's say, a decent look. And so our classical loungewear, homeware, black, blue, with a zipper jacket or with buttons, this is a quite good solution, because you still look a little bit dressed, not too shabby, but on the other hand, it's also comfortable. I think hardly somebody will sit at home at the table with high heels on and suit. Yes, so loungewear, that's definitely the right moment to invest and to push this product group.
And how do you think it is going to evolve? I mean, before you mentioned already that there are some customer behavior that, although the countries opened up, the customer behavior didn't return as it was before the crisis. And now, being that many people are used to working from home, and kind of we all got much more comfortable with this way of operations, do you see this as something that is going to stick longer?
Yes. So we invest, and we think that it will continue. It will not be that there will be a rule that you have to wear your suit at home, or your dress like you would go to work. I think there will be quite flexible rules, but of course it will be, I have to repeat myself, it's not the way that you can sit naked in front of your computer. So you have to feel comfortable, you have to look good, and that's the yes, for decent loungewear, that's exactly the right moment. Of course, it will depend a little bit how people will earn money, how the money situation will be. So, or they will buy cheaper or more quality. So yeah, this is still a question mark.
Yeah, but definitely there is a kind of already a sign that there are some behaviors that are shifting, and that they are revealing also new opportunities in a way. Now I would like to well, exactly on that topic to ask Francesca. So Francesca, from your perspective, do you think that this coronavirus pandemic has raised the awareness of consumers' minds towards sustainability trends, and how does this reveal new opportunities for brands?
Yeah, I definitely think that COVID-19 has enhanced trends that were already there. So as Andrea was mentioning before, digital was one of these, and sustainability was definitely there. So yeah, I think that I foresee that not only for Puma, but in general in the industry and a macroeconomic level, people will ask for more sustainable brand and products. I've seen tons of articles about the topic, so I see that people are really pushing for it. In general, as Puma, we were already working in this direction. So we already worked with more sustainable material or certified material like BCI cotton or Ecotex certified polyester. So there was something that we were already working, and we keep pushing to increase the percentage of these materials more and more into the collection. We also had launched the First Mile collection. That is a collection made all in recycled polyester with First Mile, which is an American company that collect plastic bottles in underdeveloped economies in order to avoid that they end up in landfill oceans. So it's a really nice story to tell to the consumer. It's relevant, and it's also do something good for the environment. So I think that there's going to be more and more of this collection coming up, and yeah. And just to relate it to Andreas' answer, it's not loungewear, but also sportswear, because like there was a peak of people training at home. We saw a massive peak of, we have a Puma Track app that is a training app that you download and you can see training. And it was like really incredible percentage of people downloading it. So I see that it's not just for relaxing on the couch, but also for training at home. I think it's COVID-19 was like a great opportunity to move the gym at home and not forget about sports.
Yeah, it is also a good trend on the rise, and I know it from the personal perspective as well.
Exactly.
But I think that many of us have been doing that. But also speaking with one of the brands a few days ago, as they were saying, if it takes really 20 days to form a habit, we are really on a good track for really some things kind of sticking. So it's all very positive, actually, against quite a negative background at the moment. One thing I would like to go deeper with Laida. So Laida, as you were saying before, what you created is quite unique on the market, and it is dedicated to a very personal, to a very sensitive, even a taboo issue. And I often hear from founders working in female tech that when it comes to investors, they face a particular bias. And not that it is because people are bad, but simply because most of the investors are male and they can not identify with problems such as maybe fertility, such as menopause, such as menstruation. So it is something that maybe kind of connects to their world if they have a very close partner, but otherwise they just don't see the necessity. So could you tell us a little bit more about how your idea came about in the first place, but also what have been the main hurdles on your journey so far?
Yeah, well, we started working on menstrual hygiene management in 2010. For example, I'm an architect. I didn't have a background on that. But the thing is that we discovered in a personal way the menstrual cup. I was sitting with Beba, one of the other founders, and we were talking about everything, and it was like, yeah, I use the menstrual cup, and we're like, wow, this is great, no? At least something reusable. We've been years and years using pads, panty liners, and now there's at least something new. No? It's like, is anyone thinking about menstruation? Because we've gone to the moon, we have iPhones, we have a lot of technology, but there's not advanced research, right, in menstruation. So yeah, back in that days, we decided that we needed to spread like the message to all the world, or everyone should know about the menstrual cups, and we started a portal in internet, and we did a lot of promotion. And then we realized that, and we still think that menstrual cups are great, but the 80% of the market of menstrual hygiene management is related to external products, because not everyone can use an internal product. And all the women in a period of our lives, maybe when you are young, maybe after birth, maybe when you have leaks, maybe when you are in menopause, everyone, I'm sure that everyone knows what is a pad. But the thing and the reality is that we don't like them because they move, they stink, they are unhealthy, they have a lot of plastics, and so we don't like them, and there has to be something else, right? So that's why we started to working on the concept of menstrual underwear. And yeah, one of the difficulties were that we didn't have any money because we were very enthusiastic and hard workers, but we didn't have any money. So we really needed to to find investment. And we decided at the beginning, to go through a crowdfunding campaign, because we thought, well, in the first place, we needed the money, of course, but we wanted to have a community that supported also our product, our idea and project. So we did this crowdfunding campaign in 2016. We wanted to raise 21,000 euros, and we ended up raising 170,000 euros. So it was a great success. It was the most successful crowdfunding campaign in Europe in the category of fashion. And yeah, it was a proof that people was waiting for something else, for more alternatives. And yeah, it was good. It was a good beginning. And yeah, and along our journey, yes, we had these difficulties also with for example, with press. Like at the beginning, the media was not very interested on periods and blood and women's stuff. But step by step, it's good that we are in a moment that, for example, well, social media have a stronger voice, and through influencers and other channels, we had the opportunity to spread the voice, and this is the way we are growing. Yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit more about your productions? Where do you produce? What is the key feature of that material?
We design and produce in Barcelona, and all the products are from Europe, and they are Ecotech certified. We are well, from a few months we've been working also with organic cotton, because we are in this journey of being more sustainable. And yes, the secret of the material of the product is the combination of different materials with different properties, with absorbency and water repellent properties that make the piece so that the piece is unique in this way and can work in a comfortable way, but also in a very efficient way. And it's also keeping it like really thin so that it's comfortable. Because at the beginning, when we were talking about the menstrual underwear, people were imagining they were like baby napkins, and it's not that. No, it's something that it's like a normal panty.
Yeah, and you sell it only online.
So you can wash it.
Yes, you can wash it. It's textile. Yes.
Okay.
And you sell only online, or you partner with B2B with some shops as well?
Yes, we started having our online shop, but since 2 years ago, we also started doing partnership with other shops and companies, and our vision is that in 2021 we will increase more the B2B business channel, and in order to grow more internationally. Yes.
It's a very, very interesting project, really. So speaking of innovation, Andreas, so Laida was saying that there is still so much innovation to be done in this industry, and I see, looking at Zimmerli, I find it is really a wonderful example of how a traditional luxury brand, so well into the second century of its existence, is remaining relevant. But probably because innovation was at the heart of the company from the very beginning. And I went to your website, and it goes to the roots of the company, and the first thing is your founder and innovation and what he was introducing at the very beginning in 18,000. So could you share with us a little bit how Zimmerli approaches innovation in general, and how you manage to combine it with the luxury craftsmanship, which often seem to quite distant parts?
Yes, of course. So there is something I would like to say right from the beginning. So there is still this handwork, and this didn't actually change over the last let's say 100 years. So there's still a lot of handwork, and also in the future it's not our plan to change this. So our innovation is now more focused on how on how we can optimize our online sales. So it's or how we can optimize our processes in the production, not itself the process, but how to follow the production with a new ERP system. And now we integrated in our website with a small startup the possibility that the customers can measure themselves online, and so they get a size recommendation and will help them to choose the right size. The meaning that he feels more happy when he gets the product, and we feel more happy because we have less returns. So the innovation goes more in this digital direction, and as we are very small, our approach is to try something. If it works, okay. If it doesn't work, we stop it. So it's not that we choose something very slowly and then start the project, and it has to be a success. No, we are small, and the team is very open to new things, and these new things are not related to big investments. So I would say right at the moment our innovation is to try something, learn something, and then implement it or stop it. So that's the innovation big part. Because also from the material side, we are known, and we will keep this, that we use natural fibers, and me personally, I'm convinced there is nothing better than natural fibers. So also, yes, there is wool, there is silk, there is cotton, there's flax, and so they are so nice, these fibers. Of course, the innovation is maybe to knit them a little bit thinner, or to combine them. There I see the potential, but it's not that we really investing in this direction. And in Switzerland, we have the big luck that we have a very well-known university, the ETH in Zurich, and they have small labs, and one of this small company born from the ETH, they also now in one of the not winners, but they're also in finalists of your Loomish, Helixia, and I'm in close contact with them for tracing wool and cotton, and yes, that's the innovation part from Zimmerli nowadays, that we are open for new things. We try them if yes, and that's from my side what I can tell you about innovation at Zimmerli.
Yeah. So actually it is also both your size that allows you for that sort of agility, but as well as the mindset.
The mindset, exactly. There are a lot of small Swiss companies. They're a little bit like this still, and our mindset is to be open for new things. As we are not big or strong enough to have ourselves an innovation lab inside our company, so we are open to look around and try something.
Yeah, I also think it's really beautiful that you mentioned universities, and it is one thing that I especially found when I started working in the Swiss market, which is how advanced Swiss universities are in both innovating in a relevant way, but also working with corporates. Um, and I see it also here where we have a big center for artificial intelligence down in Lugano. That universities are really well versed in helping companies go forward.
Yeah, from my side, I confirm this. We have really close contact, at least with 4 different universities. So in St. Gallen with the HSG, this is more economic. Then in Winterthur, there is also economic, and they have one direction luxury management, and then with the ETH, and then of course also in Lugano. So yes, that's a nice thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I would like now to shift to Francesca. That's obviously she worked for a company that is with much different dimensions, I would say. So an international giant in sportswear. So Francesca, if you could tell us a little bit more when it comes to sportswear fashion, what are the processes that create most pollution, and how is Puma tackling it? So what are you doing in order to reduce that impact?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, given the size of Puma, there are like definitely different aspects of the whole supply chain that create pollution. I would highlight few of them. Like one, I think, is the dyeing process that I think it's quite interesting to tackle, because it's all the chemicals that get thrown into the water. We are introducing more and more in the collection the dope dye methods that reduce the consumption of water of 70%. So we're trying to make it more present and more relevant in a bigger part of the collection. The other one is the energy consumption. So we are trying to training the suppliers on resource efficiency practices. So we're working closer to the different countries, like in Bangladesh or in China, with different institutes and organizations that train the suppliers. There is, for example, the Apparel Impact Institute in China, or the Partnership for Cleaner Textile program in Bangladesh. And then less related to the supply chain, but more to the logistics side, is the packaging. That's, I mean, the amount of paper in a big industry, it's clearly big. So we are trying to work with recycled paper and cardboard, and also or certified paper from the Forest Stewardship Council, in order to reduce the impact on this area as well. So yeah, definitely different aspects.
Yeah, and a much bigger scale as well. Yeah, thank you, Francesca. So continuing a little bit down the same lines, Laida. So from what we have heard so far, there is this very close connection between sustainability in fashion and innovation. So there are new materials, and then, as Andreas was mentioning earlier, there are new ways to track your materials, your supply chain, new ways of promoting collections, of tackling your e-commerce and so on. So when we speak of really pure material innovation or product innovation in the underwear segment, what are the key technologies that big brands should start exploring? So, and also, what is maybe the distinguishing feature or what you could have to offer them in the B2B environment?
Yeah, well, from my perspective, I'm kind of aligned with Andreas. What he was saying. For me, it's key that we focus on innovating in textile processing technologies, because if by 2050 Europe must be climate neutral, resource efficient, and well, circular, there's not much time, right? So we need to hurry up on that. And probably, yeah, we've been relying for so many centuries in cotton, wool, more recently polyester. but there are other alternatives of raw materials and different ways of spinning, of knitting, that can give us more option, and also alternative treatments that are less pollutant, that contaminate less the water. And well, now we are exploring in different ways and different treatments. In the case of, for example, of our underwear, to improve the efficiency of the product, but also to minimize to zero the impact in the environment. Like, for example, lyocell was, they started producing like in the 70s, and now like 50 years later, it's like a material that is more, it's more well known, but it's quite recent, right? But there are other resources that we must explore, and probably can give us more benefits.
And could you tell us how durable is the material that you are using? I mean, how many times can it be washed? How is the whole story of taking care of the product?
Yeah, from our product now, we can guarantee the efficiency of the product for 60 washes. So it's like, depending on the use, that would be 1.5, 2 years, depending on the use. That doesn't mean that after this, the product disappears. You can keep it using because at least they are panties, so you can keep using them as regular panties, and so you can have that for all the time you want, and they are good quality. They are produced in Barcelona. There is in the process, it's pretty handmade, so you can have them for many years. So yeah, this is it would be if you are strictly using them for menstruation, we would say about 2 years,
which is a lot.
Yes,
really a lot. Yeah.
Andreas,
connecting quickly to what Laida was saying about innovation in materials and kind of exploring alternatives to what there is. So could you tell us, you were saying that you do 80% of your sourcing in Switzerland, and could you tell us a little bit more about your approach to using alternative materials and textiles in your collections?
So yes, we are not really looking for alternative materials, because we are quite happy, and also our customer, with cotton, with flax, with wool. But what we did now is we start buying cotton from Greek, so to have a really short way from the field to the consumer. And the innovation there is that in Greek they have very a very good system to water the cotton plants. So they are not anymore flooding just the fields, just they give really to one plant the water it needs. So the water consumption is quite reduced, and also the same for fertilizer. So it's not that they are spreading all over the field, because Greek is small and they have to take really care of their land. So they are using the fertilizer really precisely for the plant and for the specific moment they need it. So that's one thing what we are now doing. What we are also promoting is this Greek cotton, and the innovation is, yes, we always a little bit trying to do this combination of micromodal and silk, and then a little bit of elastan or less. So it's going in this direction, and also the finishing of the fabric. There is also a lot of potential that the soft touch, or a little, if you want to have more a cooling effect, or to a carbon finish to avoid peeling. You know, with micromodal, a lot of cheap micromodal, you wear it twice, and then you have all these small small things, and the surface is not anymore plain. So that's what we are where we push our innovation in the way that we can optimize the natural fibers we are using, so to make them more durable, or to make them more comfortable for the end consumer. So also wool is a good example. If you spin it very thin, if you mix it with silk, you even can touch. From the touch you cannot feel that it's wool, but you have still the good things of wool, that it's warming you, and it's taking a lot of moisture and yeah, in this direction.
Yeah. Very, very interesting actually, how you actually combine the traditional part of kind of looking at the basic natural materials, but apply innovation on the surface almost, no, in order to make it a very, very interesting approach. In connection with that, Francesca, so again, let's go back to to a different scale of things. So Puma is a huge international brand, and could you tell us a little bit more about what the main barriers for big brands are when it comes to introduction of biodegradable or recycled materials? So applying them on a large scale. So what are the key problems that you face?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think sustainability is a long-time strategy. So you need to work thinking and including also your plan of growth in the future, assuring the availability of the new materials for the supply chain. So I think the main challenge is finding reliable suppliers and adapt the supply chain accordingly to the new materials. It's about also find materials and technologies that are scalable. So as you said, because the industry is big, so the quantity needed are a lot. So there are a lot of startups at the moment that are developing new materials. The issue is like how to make it scalable for the quantities, for the big production quantities, and also commercial from a price point of view, because clearly most of the new materials are extremely expensive at the moment because they are still in small quantities. In particular, in sportswear, I would just add that you need also specific technicality of the material, because it needs to be breathable and it needs to be lightweight. So the technical material that we use in sportswear is not just the basic cotton. So so I would say this one is main challenge. So the scalability, the commercial price, and the reliability of the suppliers. So this is why we work. Yeah, this is why we prefer to start with the small capsule as first mile, because then you have a smaller collection with smaller volumes, and then it's easier to handle and to test suppliers and materials. So that's how I think it's better.
Yeah, scalability in materials is really a big issue, and I get to hear that from many big brands, and especially the fact that the materials industry is quite fragmented, so they cannot unite in a way to kind of get the momentum and approach big brands. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how that develops.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing that, Francesca. So I'm just being slightly aware of time, and I would like to come back to the core of our discussion. So Laida, you were mentioning earlier that we have until 2050 to reach the Sustainable Development Goals and fix so many things that the last few generations have destroyed on the planet. And now we have this crisis on top. So there are many people that are saying that it's a good thing. There are quite a few boring voices saying that it is going to be a setback actually for all the efforts that have been done so far. So if you could share how you see it from your perspective and from where you stand in the industry, and also if you could kind of give any thoughts on what we could do to ensure that sustainability remains on the agenda when it comes to fashion.
Yeah. Well, I would say that policies must be really consistent, but also very consistent worldwide, right? Because we've seen it with the COVID that with this crisis, it didn't matter if you, well, it doesn't matter because we are still, if you are in Spain, if you're in Switzerland, if you are in USA, we all were connected, and we had very clear that we had this human problem, and yeah, with the environmental crisis, it's like sometimes it's like people doesn't see it, because it's like, yeah, when you use, for example, a pad, you throw it to your trash bin. From there, it goes to a landfill, and you don't know what happens. It remains there for 500 years. You don't care. We don't care, no, because we don't see it. And I think that this change of mindset, that we are responsible for what we produce, what we put in landfills, in the environment, and having this mentality that it doesn't only affect me, but also affects everyone and the future generations, must be something that we really need to insist, and from school, and we have to grow up with this mentality to change the world. Otherwise we will forget that we were locked down for months, and we will forget that in Spain, I don't know, I think it was around that pollution went down like 30%. It was like really, we had never seen these numbers before, because we just keep going, and now with the COVID, I think we had the opportunity to see, what is possible, other ways of organization, other ways of structure, other ways of using more the technology to improve. And yeah, I think that we should be very, very consistent and don't forget, and really will to see the change.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Laida. It's a very complex issue, and as you said at the beginning, very country specific as well. So, whereas we should be taking a more global stance.
Yeah.
Andreas, more or less the same question. So how do you see what are the ways of maintaining the fashion sustainability momentum?
I mean, the most important thing, that's also that we learn our consumer that they have to take more care of their products. So they need a lot more information, how you wash, how much washing powder you're using, how you try it. So that what you, of course, it's against us if the people buy less because they can use it longer. We sell maybe less, but I think the winner will be these brands, what also can guarantee a certain time life for their products, and this is, in my opinion, the most important thing for the sustainability in the textile fashion industry. Yeah, we have to consume less. We have to give our customers more information about how to care the products from, and show them from where the product comes. So and tell them that yes, it's handmade. So it's at least for an underwear there are 20 minutes handwork. A t-shirt maybe a little bit less, but if you have in mind these people working and then you just wear it one time and throw it away, this is yes, this is not sustainable. and I'm a little bit, of course, we from the industry, we can do a lot. We can reduce the water water consumption. Yes, we can use not harmful dyeing colors and so on. But in the end, we also need the consumers, and the consumer, they have to be ready, they have to be open, and to listen to our instruction how to care a product. So this is yes, to say always, you industry, you have to take care of the planet, you have to do everything to make a better world. Yes, it's a little bit too easy. It's also the consumer. But what we have to do, we have to inform the consumer. We have to help him to be also a part of this sustainable story.
Thank you very much, Andreas. What I really like about your comment is that no one can do it on their own. Neither the brands or the consumers or the government that needs to enforce. It is more about kind of collaboration and pulling each other ahead in this story. And this is one of the things that I've been doing these panel discussions for over a month now. And it's one of the things that comes up quite often, which is the concept of collaborative competition, which is an assumption that to make a really substantial change, the competitors and multiple players need to come together and work together around a common goal. So Francesca, I would like to ask you as a closing comment, so do you believe that sustainability is a goal that can be achieved only if working together? And how do you see this feasible?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a big fan of collaboration. There is this word that I heard in one of the webinar I was following that is frenemies. So friends and enemies, how companies will start working together with the competitors to achieve a common goal. I mean, there was an article by Jared Diamond, you know, the author, the Pulitzer author of Guns, Germs and Steel, and he was saying exactly the same thing. Is like, I mean, clearly not on the fashion industry, but more a big level, how we all need to come together to sort out the problem of climate change or inequality. So I think that collaboration is definitely one of the solutions to move towards this. In particular, in fashion industry, if you just want to be relevant to the topic, there are different coalitions. There is the Sustainable Apparel Coalition, the Fashion Charter on Climate Change. So there, for sure, there is also into the fashion industry in particular some collaboration, and but I think also on a big scale, it's something that will also be there to stay.
Thank you very much. Hopefully. Thank you very much, Francesca. So I think it concludes very nicely our discussion. So collaboration is key. And so Francesca, Andreas, and Laida, I thank you very much for your time and for sharing your insights and experiences. I'm sure that our audience found it stimulating, and I for sure have learned quite a few new things today. So thank you very much for that. For all of you watching us, we'll be bringing discussions like this each week to our LinkedIn page. So please make sure that you follow Loomish Essays LinkedIn. Have a great day. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.